in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. This is Mark Raymakers here with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. I want to thank you for joining us here today. We got a real treat, a new carrier that we've brought on and having some great success with. Some of you may be familiar with them, but if not, you most certainly will be after today's webinar. This one is recorded too, by the way, so what we'll do is we'll send this over to you here by the end of the day. And we certainly want to thank Gary Cruz, who is the Director of Key Partnerships with SBLI. And so he's going to lead us through this webinar this morning, tell you a little bit more about the carrier, the products, the opportunities that are out there. So we're really excited to add this here to our portfolio. In fact, once we got set up, we saw business coming in the door, I think probably a week after the contract was inked. So pretty excited about the direction this is going. So, Gary, thank you for taking time to join us and help us out this morning.
Yeah, you're welcome. Happy to be here.
So here's what we're going to do, folks. Just real quick, I see there's a lot of new names on here that I don't recognize. And so one of the things I'm going to do real quickly is I'm going to go through some things, some benefits, some services that we provide to you. We've been in this business going on 32 years, and I think we've got a lot of great, exciting things to share with you. So we'll do that real quick here. And then I've got a couple of polls I'm going to put out there for you. I'm going to ask you to weigh in or vote on some of these here to get some feedback from you. But first of all, what we want to do is we want to tell you about a referred producer program we have here. I'm sure a lot of you are successful in obtaining referrals from your clients, and so we do something very similar to that. However, we financially reward you for that. And what I mean by that is if you refer someone to us, they sign a contract, we'll send you a check for $50 just for the contract alone. If and when they start producing, we then put money into an account for you. And at the end of the quarter, we will send you a check for their production. So here's an example. If we look at, say, three $1 million producers, if they write $1 million in annuities, single premium life, there's a fraction of it for target life premium. That's $6,000 in cash that comes to you in a year. Now, you're not in the commission business. Your referral is not going to take a commission cut. This is basically our way of saying thank you. And as long as that advisor or agent is writing business, you will continue to have money paid out to you each quarter. Some of our agents are making $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a year on referrals, so it can be very lucrative for you as well. Then we also have a marketing reimbursement. Quite simply, the way this works is when you're writing business with IAMS, we put business into an account for you, and this sits there until you decide to use it. So what a lot of our agents and advisors are doing is they'll use that to pay for their seminars or their leads or their postage or whatever it is. So let's say, for example, you write $100,000 in premium for single premium life, annuities, or say $10,000 in target life premium. We put that money into the account. So let's say in the month of October you spend $1,000 on maybe it's seminars or whatever it is. You send us a receipt. We will turn around and send you a check for $500. So reimburse up to 50% of whatever your expense is. Christmas is coming up. We have a lot of advisors that'll have a big party. They send us their receipt. We reimburse 50%. So not only are you receiving tremendous top shelf service from us, great commissions, but you're also getting that market reimbursement. So basically add that back into whatever it is that you're doing. We certainly, I think, have an edge there. Here's the other thing we do. We have a new producer bonus. So let's say that dollar for dollar, each one of these levels is dollar for annuities, single premium, or then again a fraction of this for target life, so $20,000 in target premium. Once you get to the first level, you can either choose to take $750 in cash, or you could take on the two-year producer website. So if you don't have a website, we can set that up for you in one business day, and that's 2 years for free. Or you could choose to take the iPad. So any one of those are the first level. You might decide you want to wait till the second level, which is the $300,000 level. This has been very effective. The Social Security program and the 3,000 piece mailing, a lot of advisors buy that because they want to get into it right away. So you can certainly do that, or you can earn it. And I will tell you that when you learn the Social Security program, you get in front of a lot of senior buyers. Those agents and advisors that are taking advantage of it absolutely love it because it's certainly increasing their sales. Or you could do the $2,000 market reimbursement. or $1,500 gift cards. So those are your options for that second level. Now the third level, maybe you're interested in seminars, maybe you've done them in the past, maybe you've kind of fallen off that, but you want to get back into it. We've got two great programs here. There's 5,000 piece mailing and seminar coaching with Matt Gill, or 4,000 piece mailing and seminar coaching with Dave Pimper. These two gentlemen, that's all they do is seminars. They are very successful. They qualify for all the trips that we have. They qualify for 2 to 3, maybe even 4 different company trips. So great opportunity to get back into it. You can also buy into those plans if you opt not to just earn them. Finally, you might say, hey, you know what, I got a program that works great. I just want to take a vacation. So then you can get the Ritz-Carlton Travel Rewards program. Our back office support, again, I think we are the best in the business out there. We help you obviously work smarter, not harder, by letting us do the back office stuff for you. So we provide the business building tools and resources, which I'm going to go through here in just a second, because I really want to toot the horn that we have in our creative department. We also do the case design, so we run all your quotes. We don't expect you to be the product expert. That's what we're here for. So we're going to find you the best term, the best annuity, the best IUL, whatever it is for you. And we run all those quotes internally here. The marketing department, pretty much probably I would say 80 to 90% of those in marketing have been in the field sometime or another, so they understand what it is you're trying to accomplish. We truly take you from submission to commission. We work that case from the time it comes in the door to the time you get paid commission. Again, we do all your life annuity quotes. As far as what we provide you as far as sales expertise and coaching, again, we've been in the field. We're always learning by speaking with other advisors, so we can share a lot of great thoughts and ideas that we learn from top producers and share that with you. And then our paperless contracting, we make it easy to get set up with us right away. You can go and we can email you the contract when we're done here today. You can complete that, mark SBLI as a carrier you want to get appointed with, and then if you ever want to add a carrier again in the future, there's no paper that's needed. You can simply call your marketer and say, hey, please add this company. Boom, it's done. You don't have to complete any paperwork. Okay, so here's the thing we do on the creative side. Josh in our office here and his team can help you with all of this stuff. In fact, it looks like Josh is hosting the webinar. He's not. He's the one that sets this up for us. But you can look at the different pieces that we provide. Everything can be customized for you. So different handouts, flyers, newsletters, postcards. We've got some templates out there that we've developed. We can personalize it for you. Speaking of agency solutions, we've created a lot of, or I should say his team's created a lot of different logos, really attractive pieces you can put on everything that you do, so you're really branding yourself, which I think is important in today's time, to get yourself out there so people recognize you. The digital solutions, anything you can think of from online marketing, we can help you out with. So you can see the setting up the website, as I mentioned before, social media, all this kind of stuff, Josh's team can help you out with. So if you want to know more, maybe take advantage of that, call and ask for Josh, and he'll get you set up. Our website, if you haven't been there, I want to tell you real quick, it's www.imzing.com. Everything that you could possibly need to write a piece of business is available on the website, from contracting to applications to product grids to quoting software. It's out there for you. Now, obviously, we are here. We're open. You can call at 7:30 a.m. Up until 5:30 p.m. and catch somebody in the office here to help you. But we understand there's times where you're going to be out in the field. You're going to be having an appointment early in the morning, later in the afternoon, even on the weekends. That's why our website is designed to help you, so that even though we're not here, you can utilize the website to continue to produce and write business. Something real quick here, the Retirement Analyzer. A lot of advisors ask us, what do you have for tools to help us be more effective in our financial planning with our clients? The Retirement Analyzer is a great program for that. And if you're computer savvy, you'll love this. If you don't know how to turn the computer on or off, like I've heard some guys unplug it from the wall, you know what, that's probably not for you. But this particular program is a holistic approach. If you're interested, just call and ask for marketing, ask for information on the Retirement Analyzer, and we'll get something over to you. Now, here's something we're really excited about. Here's my first poll. So if you would just quickly mark if you're interested in knowing more, if you'd like someone for IMS Wealth Management to give you a call. Okay, I'm going to leave this open for. I'm going to tell you a little bit about IMS Wealth Management. This was all brought on with the Department of Labor ruling that said, you know what, hey, there's going to be some changes taking place. So what we did is we've created our own RIA. We've got a phenomenal broker dealer. We have, and when I speak with these guys, I was a serious guy myself. I used to sell all the funds and you name it. So one thing that I found out is that our fees are very low, very competitive, and our commissions are top. We're not losing in that aspect. So if you're not happy with whatever commissions you're earning now and or the fees you're paying, it's certainly worth having these guys give you a call. You look at increased revenue because now obviously you're managing money, you're helping your clients more in that respect. Advisors that are doing this are seeing an increase in the revenue as well. The improved client retention is certainly notable. If you've ever talked with an agent who is a property and casualty, they'll tell you the more lines of business you have, the better your retention, and that goes to wealth management as well. And obviously strengthen that relationship by having your client come to you for everything that they need. That's a big deal. So here's the question real quick, and I'm going to move on to the next slide. But if you're considering taking your exam, and this DOL, it's getting kicked down the road, right? Well, you know what? I don't think it's going to totally go away. I think it's something we need to really keep our eye on. But if you're considering taking that exam, we'll help you with that. We'll help you financially to pay for that. So if you have any questions, if you want to speak with one of the gentlemen in the IAMS Wealth Management Department, you want to maybe just talk with them and have some questions, just simply mark yes. And then what I'll do is I'll have one of them give you a call and address any questions, concerns about DOL, about getting series license, whatever it would be. So not as good a response as I was hoping here. But you know what? If you change your mind and you want to speak with someone here, just simply give our office a call here. And any one of these folks can certainly answer any questions that you have. Okay. Well, we got some people that are voting in here, so I appreciate that. I'm going to give this one more second, and then I'm going to close this down. So if you want to speak with one of the IAMS Wealth Management folks, just mark yes. I will have them give you a call. Okay, we are going to move on. Thank you for that. So here's I believe this will be my last poll. And this one here is on training. We are really big on training, so the quicker you mark yes or no on this, the faster we'll get on to the meat of this webinar with SBLI. So here's the deal. You'll notice that in our training, we have webinars every day of the week because we believe, and I think it's true, that the educated advisor is a very successful one. It allows you to offer more to your clients and your prospects. So what we do here is we have, it's about a 2.5-day training. So here's the deal. We pay for your airfare. We pay for your meals. We pay for your lodging. Our next event is coming up here. It's the first week of November. So we're quickly filling this up. If you were interested in knowing about this or potentially attending this, mark yes. We have 3 of these a year. This is our last event for the year. They are very well attended. It's a full house every time. So what we do is we bring speakers in from across the country to help you to grow your life business and to help you grow your annuity business. We talk about a lot of different things. This is not a product training. This is a training where you come in and you're doing just this. You're learning different sales, marketing concepts. And one of the nice things that I've seen is since there are so many top producers that are coming in from across the country, just sitting down and having conversations with other advisors has been very effective, very popular, because you're picking up some new ideas from people just like yourself that are very effective in this and successful in this business. And one thing that I've learned is that those that are so successful, those top producers with us, never stop learning. So this is an opportunity for you to continue to learn, grow in your trade, and pick up some great ideas. So, for example, I mentioned Matt Gill and Dave Pimper before. They'll actually be at this training event. They'll be showing you their seminar. So if you want to learn about seminar selling, this is a great chance for you to do that. Okay, not a tremendous response. I'm kind of surprised. You must all be getting some free training elsewhere. Otherwise, without a doubt, this is the best training. I've been in this business since '88. And I've been to a lot of training myself. I personally do some presenting there. And something that I see is that unanimously continue to hear that this is the best training that advisors have ever attended. So if you're not getting free training, if you're not learning about some of the new sales techniques and tricks of the trade, so to speak, this is an opportunity for you to do that. And by marking yes, what we'll do is we'll get you on the list. We'll email you an invitation. We'll email you an agenda, so you have a chance to see what we're talking about. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close this poll out here. If you change your mind, you can certainly give us a call and we'll get you on that list. We'll get you out an email with the agenda as well. Okay, we have our top producers escape, we call it. And generally, this is about a $2 million in total production. That means everything that you write with us, life, annuities, long-term care, it all goes towards this particular trip. You'll see it is February 25th through the 28th in Scottsdale, Arizona, is at the Boulders Resort and Spa. This is for producer and guest. Would love you have you there. This is a 4-day, 3-night event. It's a great time. It's an opportunity for us to get to meet you and thank you for your efforts and your success. So this is not the end. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn this over to Gary. Gary, I'm sure that you have your computer up and you are ready to roll. So I'm going to give you full control here.
Great. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, I do. And let me just, the presentation I want to start with. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for jumping on to the webinar today. And as you see from what Mark has presented, IAMS is a great program for you, and it sounds like it has some really exceptional support. And we're really happy to be on their list of carriers, and we think we have exciting things to offer for you. And what I'm really going to focus on today, first I'm going to give you an overview of my company, because I'm not sure if you've ever heard of SBLI before. That stands for Savings Bank Life Insurance Company. And we've actually done something very recently, which is a little change to our corporate structure, and it's kind of different from what any other company out there has done. And it does impact the name of the company in a good way. It's now going to be Savings Bank Mutual Life Insurance Company. That's right. We've actually gone against the stream. Most people are going the other way, away from being a mutual company. They have in recent times. We've actually gone ahead and made ourselves a mutual company. So we are owned by our policyholders exclusively. So I think that's a very exciting thing, particularly when we're talking about permanent products like whole life. So that's just a little quick tease on SBLI. And I just hope that, Mark, maybe you can confirm that you can see my screen. I think you probably can, but I just want to make sure that everything's ready to go.
Yes, I can. Yep.
Excellent. Perfect. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to talk about why you should consider offering SBLI's products and talking about my company with your prospects and with your clients. Although you may not be familiar with SBLI, we've actually been around 110 years, so we're pretty well established as a life carrier, and we've always focused on providing low-cost, high-quality products and protection for families and businesses. We are A-rated with AM Best, A- with Strong, and Weiss, if you're familiar with them, they went by the street for a while, and now they're back to calling themselves Weiss. It gives us a B-, which is actually a really excellent rating with them. Doesn't sound like it, but it really is, because they rate you on public information only, that you don't pay to play with them at all. So this last bullet refers to what I was just talking about. We've completed our transition to a mutual company. So again, we are owned by our policyholders. It's a very different and I think exciting story to be able to tell. So we have competitive product offerings, including term and whole life. Our term product portfolio is, we've been known in the industry for having very competitive rates. We've kind of gone and made ourselves kind of progressive in the way we do our business. So we've really focused on making our term sales really easy for you to do in a couple ways, and I'm going to talk more about that in a few minutes. We're available widely, so we're everywhere in the United States except for New York, and we currently don't have any products approved in Montana, but everywhere else in the U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska, we have an authority to write life insurance. We have new technologies that we offer, including enhanced new business and underwriting processes. The first one is our drop ticket, which Mark's company, IAMS, is working on getting on their website. And that allows you to place an order for life insurance in as few as 5 minutes. And then the other thing that we're doing to help you write term cases quickly with very little pain is our accelerated underwriting process. So you can get policies issued in as few as 48 hours. And that's obviously a perfect storm where everything goes beautifully. But there's some really unique things about our process. If you've done accelerated underwriting with other companies, we are unique in that no matter what someone is in our accelerated underwriting program, we will never order a paramed exam. So I'm going to talk more about that in a minute, now that I've teased it. So our advantage also in the term is that the premiums are very competitive, particularly over $500,000. We compete in the top 3 regularly for over $500,000. For $500,000 or less of level term, we really focus on process. Because we don't ever get a paramed for the less term, the pricing reflects that a little bit. So we may not be quite as competitive as other carriers that do an exam for those levels, but the convenience of the process is just, it's superior to any other one out there. Our compensation is very competitive. There's no reduction for using our drop ticket or our accelerated underwriting programs. And with those 2 programs, your policies get issued faster and you get paid faster. Durations that we offer are 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30-year level term options. We have very favorable conversion options, so you can convert to either whole life, or we have a conversion universal life product as well. It's only available for conversion, but you can convert up to the age 70 or the end of the level term period, whatever is earlier. Our policy fees are low in the industry, and we do offer combination coverages. So if you're the kind of agent who likes to sell a little bit of permanent, a little bit of term, we have an option for you there as well. I'm going to spend just a moment talking about whole life. We do offer it, and some of you folks might be interested in it. We have 6 different product options, and that refers to the ways that you can pay the product. So we have a continuous pay, which is payable all years up to age 121. We have a limited pay for 10, 15, or 20 years, life paid up at age 65, and then a true single premium whole life contract, pay it up in one shot, which is great for wealth transfer kind of ideas. We offer 7 riders on our whole life, which is available on most products except for the single pay. Every term and whole life product comes with our accelerated death benefit, which if a client is, insured rather, is terminal with 12 months or less to live, they can accelerate up to half the death benefit. For children's level term, guaranteed purchase option, which allows the client to come in at different times, scheduled times throughout the contract and purchase additional whole life without proving insurability. We have a single pay paid up addition rider, which is great for putting cash in 5 exchanges. For example, we have waiver premium and accidental death benefit and guaranteed level premium term. Our guaranteed level premium term is essentially, it's almost like putting a term policy on a whole life policy without the term policy fee. So essentially the dividend has nothing to do with paying the cost of the insurance. The insurance charge for the term is the same as if you bought the same per thousand as if you bought the just a regular standalone term insurance policy. So the benefit of that, since the dividend is not buying the cost of the term insurance, is going 100% to whatever dividend option you pick, paid up additions, for example. You can drop our whole life cases through our drop ticket program as well, but they're not eligible for accelerated underwriting at this time. Our drop ticket, which you'll have available shortly, we'll give you a quick overview of that as far as the responsibilities and how it works. You as agent would select the product and quote it for the individual, let them know what to expect from the process, and then complete the drop ticket, which again takes about 5 minutes. Once the order for the drop ticket goes through to our fulfillment center, they will call your client at the time and number you provide, or as close to the time as we can. We'll do part 1 and part 2 over the telephone and get voice signature. And at that point, it's a completed application and it gets uploaded to SPLI. Our fulfillment center uploads to us every half hour, so we get, once that telephone interview is done, the voice signature is obtained, we get the application pretty quickly. Goes to our underwriters, they start underwriting, and it's going to go one of 2 ways. If it's over $500,000, it's our regular traditional life underwriting with a paramed and all requirements. If it's $500,000 or less, and the client's between the age of 18 and 60, it goes through our accelerated underwriting process. And as I said before, we will never order a paramed exam for people that fit the accelerated underwriting process. So to qualify for accelerated underwriting, it's very simple. The client just needs to be between the age of 18 and 60, including age 60. and be applying for $500,000 or less of level and term insurance. That's it. That's the only thing that you have to consider when you're trying to figure out if they'll fit our accelerated underwriting. I know other companies, if a client is, not the preferred or maybe standard category, risk category, they wouldn't be eligible for accelerated underwriting. All rate classes with ours qualify. So you could have a person that's the best class, preferred plus, they're going to go through accelerated underwriting. You could have somebody that's the highest table rating. They will still go through accelerated underwriting. I just want to point out the accelerated underwriting is still a fully underwritten process. The only difference is that we don't get an exam. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what we do obtain in a moment. So to do the accelerated underwriting, they just have to be 18 through 60, looking for $500,000 or less. You simply, as the agent, drop a ticket through our ZipApp program, which will be on the IAMS website shortly. And that's it. No applications are ever redirected to a traditionally underwritten process with a paramed exam. No paramed visit is required for your clients. We've been doing this since May of 2016 now, so a year and a half, I guess, about, and we have never gone back and gotten a paramed exam. So it's just a super simple, easy process. And the underwriting decisions are made quicker with the process, and the cycle time is reduced for you. Okay. I'm going to skip off of this for a second and kind of just go through our accelerated underwriting flyer that you actually can have and use as a reference. So I'm not going to hit all the points because I think I've probably covered a bunch of them already. But just so you see the overview, the accelerated underwriting is an expedited process that automatically used for all cases, $500,000 or less, ages 18 to 60, without a paramed or examiner appointment. So it's a very non-invasive process for clients. So we're not looking for any different kind of risk profile here. We just want the regular risk profile of the client. So not somebody who's a simplified issue prospect or a guaranteed issue process. That's not what we're looking for. We want people that can withstand underwriting, because it is going to be fully underwritten, but it's non-invasive. So we're really looking for a client that wants the convenience of not having to be, stuck with a needle and all that stuff. It's very easy for you as the agent. You never have to worry that SBLI is going to go back and say, after looking at some of this information, we've decided that we want to get a paramed after all. We're never going to do that. Obviously, the cycle times improved, and placement rates are improved with the process too, we're finding. So there are two ways to submit business. So right now, while this doesn't have a link, you could drop a paper part one. You could do that. The only thing is that the part two has got to be a telephone interview. So that's the difference. It's not exactly accurate to say that this is a non-med thing, because we do a telemed exam is what we call it. So again, what the fulfillment center does is they're doing the part one questions and all the part two questions with the client. So we are asking medical history and finding out about their health. Worst case scenario in this, we may first of all there's some electronic data points that we obtain to find out about the client. Worst case scenario, we might order doctor's records if we see something that we want to investigate a little more deeply. And I'll talk about that more in a minute. So all the level term products I discussed earlier are available. You can do replacements with drop ticket and accelerated underwriting. That works fine. I mentioned before you can't do whole life at all with our accelerated underwriting, so you can't do a combination term whole life because we don't allow whole life through accelerated underwriting yet. Pretty much, I think I've talked about what your responsibility is with the drop ticket. You're going to pre-qualify the client, run a quote, and do the drop ticket or part one. Ever need to order an exam? No, the AU process does not require a paramed exam. What you should tell your client is that the interview takes about 20 to 30 minutes for part one and part two. And the more they're prepared for the phone call, the better. I've got a sheet that I'm just going to show you at the end of this. It's a preparing for accelerated underwriting call. I recommend that before you get off the phone with the client, you talk through that prep guide and send it to them by email, because that kind of reinforces that we are going to go out and find out. We're going to ask them about their medical history. We're going to ask for a driver's license and all these kind of different things that are sort of reinforce that they need to be prepared to be forthcoming about their history in all ways, medical and otherwise. We also have some materials out on our SBLIbrokerage.com site, which you can use to promote our accelerated underwriting and our term products. We have a whole life site coming out soon also on that. A couple other things, you can bind coverage this way. One interesting thing is that you can actually backdate the save age for accelerated underwriting. So if you have a client that's up to 6 months past their 60th birthday, you can backdate 6 months to save their age for the accelerated underwriting process. Just a total amount of $500,000 will be eligible for accelerated underwriting. So you couldn't do $500,000 for two fees, $500,000 each, and have them both be underwriting. $500,000 is the maximum for that. Okay, I think I've covered almost everything here. I want to skip down to this page on underwriting. What types of data are used? So I mentioned before that fully, it's just that for accelerated underwriting, we never get a pyramid exam. So you might be asking, what do we do? Well, of course, we get Part 1 and Part 2, but then we also get MIB, Medical Insurance Bureau information, which we always get anyway. We get MVR, so we're looking at the driving record. And then we get data analytics from a Fair Credit Reporting Act. So that's public information where we're really looking for bankruptcies and criminal history and that kind of thing. Financial stressors sometimes don't really kind of mess with the accelerated underwriting process, so that's an important thing for us to consider. Okay. And will we ever order an APS? As I mentioned, yes, we will if we need to, but we only do it for cause. So if a client is disclosed that they have certain impairments, we might go get an APS. Diabetes is one of those situations where we're probably pretty much always going to get an APS on that. I'm going to show you a best practices guide, which kind of lays that out a little bit more, in depth. Right now, currently, we're ordering APSs about 36% of the time for our accelerated underwriting cases. So the majority of the time, we do not order APSs. We get enough information from the prescription check, the MIB, the MVR, and the Fair Credit Reporting to make an underwriting decision. So roughly 2/3 of the time, we don't order an APS, but the other third of the time or so, we do. All right, I think right now that's all I want to cover on this sheet, and I'm going to make all of these materials available to Mark so that he can provide them to you. And what I'd like to do at this point, if I can get off of this screen here, is to do a demo of the actual drop ticket. So you have that. There we go. So this is what it's going to look like once Mark gets up on his agent site. This is what you're going to be able to see. There is a quick registration that takes about a minute. As an agent, when you first go in, you're going to have 2 options: log in. You'll have a login button, or you'll have a registration button. If it's your first time going in, you hit the registration button. You pick a user ID, a password, put in your name, email address, social security number, and I think that's about all you need to do, and you're good to go. Once you hit submit, you're going to go to this screen that we're looking at right here. So this is a basic, quoting screen. So I'm just going to kind of go through this rather quickly with you, so you can see what it looks like. It doesn't look probably much different than other systems you may have seen. Okay. You see the person's a non-smoker. Go for the best rate class. And I'll pick 20-year term, it's the most popular product. And oops. Okay. And I hit the button to run the quote. There we go. I need to move that over. There we go. Okay. All right, so here we have our different options for this person. So $500,000 of level term on a fairly young person here. If I'm going to go with this preferred plus quote here, I just want to hit this ticket button takes us into the actual ticket process where I start putting information on the client. Okay. Going to put enough information at this point so we know what the client is. Okay, I'm going to put in their cell phone number. Don't need to put an email address, but you should put in when they want to be called. So, yeah. Okay. Preferred method of contact, you just want to keep this consistent with whatever phone number you put in. So if I put in a cell number, you want to pick cell number here. If I pick home, then it's going to ask for the home number. So you just need to put in one point of contact there. Okay. Is insured off the owner? Yes. Okay, if it's not. All right, so you see we've got a 20-year term and $500,000 for annual premium $257. If I want to go ahead and change this, I can go put in a 25-year level term or a 30-year level term, for example, and the premium would adjust up here. I have the option to choose some riders if I'd like. All right, I have the option here also to change the risk class if I think for some reason maybe the person's preferred and not preferred plus after all. I can pick my premium mode. And then just a series of questions. The first is, do you want to apply for conditional receipt? So we need to take money, and then you'd have the client would have a conditional receipt while the case is being underwritten. These three questions here are asking if you have any reason to believe that these are stranger-owned policies. And hopefully the answer to these are no, because we don't engage in stranger-owned policies like most insurance carriers don't these days. You can do replacements, as I indicated. Here, if you click yes, you have a drop down to put in the particulars of the policies being replaced. This just asks if your AML training is up to date. If it is, that's great. If it's not a showstopper if you're only doing term insurance. We don't require it if you're just doing term insurance. If you drop a whole life ticket, then you'd need to have your AML up to date for that. All right, so this is one of the last screens here. If at registration, you have the opportunity to put in your SBLI agent number if you have one, and that would show up here when you register. If you're not yet contracted, you can indicate that, and it will not stop the process. We'll just get the licensing done behind the scenes with Mark and his team. And then on this screen here, you can put in additional information that you think the underwriters might want to know. For example, I had somebody drop a ticket and they put in that the proposed insured was 6 months pregnant. That's probably a pretty good thing that you'd want to let the underwriter know, and the person did use it for that. Add supporting documents. I did mention that you can do whole life, so if you wanted to upload an illustration from your desktop, you could do that here. And this is the last screen you're going to see. This serves as your signature as agent. Basically, what you're doing is attesting to these 4 statements that you believe the information's correct and complete, that it's not stranger-owned insurance or going to be for the benefit of a stranger, that you're licensed in the state you're doing the application in, and that you've given all the appropriate disclosure documents. Which you don't have to give any additional paper documents or anything. Everything you've gone through this process is the disclosure to the client. That's all you have to do. Once you hit the submit button, as I said, it goes off to our call center. They do the part 1 and the part 2 over the telephone, so you don't have to do anything but what we've just covered right here in the drop ticket. And then it's off to the races. As I said, if it's over $500,000, it's our regular full underwriting with an exam. If it's $500,000 or less, and the client's 18 to 60, no paramed exam. Just MIB, script check, fair credit reporting, and driver record, and possibly APS. So I'm not going to hit the submit button, because if I do, that's going to be a live case. I don't want to do that. But I do want to, before we kind of step off for the day, I do want to take a moment and just show you something that will sort of help you get a feel for what the accelerated underwriting process is about, what it is, what it isn't. So I'm not going to cover all of this, but I'm going to make this available so that you can have it from Mark. But basically, this is going to talk about what works well with accelerated underwriting and what doesn't. So again, these are the AU criteria, 18 to 60, $500,000 or less. The things that happen is no paramed required. All risk classes qualify. Target market, these are conditions that are well suited for accelerated underwriting review with a telemed underwriting, which happens in every case in doctor's records, prescription check. So what's important is that the client provides information. They're good historians of their overall medical facts and can provide those to the telemed interviewer. It's important that we don't see any indication of heavy shopping activity with poor disclosure. That bullet refers to what happened to us when we first came out with this process. People were looking at this as sort of, as I said before, a simplified underwriting type of deal and comparing it with other carriers that do that. And our pricing was so much better. They gravitated naturally to this. But the problem was that these people really were simplified issue candidates and couldn't withstand full underwriting. So, we were getting people not disclosing, medical conditions or, financial or criminal activity. They're provided under and get a policy approved without disclosing things, and invariably, one way or another. So definitely want to, the client is forthcoming with us and, again, can withstand full medical underwriting. So these are things that don't work well: bankruptcy history, heavy lien or judgment activity, clients who are unemployed, with the exception of homemakers and retired people, and clients with minimal household earnings. These impairments here fit the model pretty well, starting with asthma, anxiety, depression, if it's just a first-line treatment. Diabetes type 2 fits pretty well. We're probably got APS for that, though. These cases here on this next screen, these are impairments that will definitely result in an APS. So this might be a good reference sheet for you to keep when you're considering this. And just, if you have your client has one of these, you can prepare them and say, well, you can go through the drop ticket, you can go through the accelerated underwriting, but chances are good that we're going to get doctor's records, and so the time may not be expedited processing for that reason. We have to wait for the doctor's records to come in before we can make a decision. This last page is uninsurable scenarios, so these are ones that are definitely not going to go anywhere. So if you happen to know the client has any of these, then it would be best not to even submit it to us. And that's for accelerated underwriting, is for traditional underwriting as well. Again, it shows on SBLifeBrokers.com that you can use to market this stuff. Okay. And so that's a really useful guide. I do have an additional addendum to that I'll include. I'm not going to cover right now, but I'll include that with Mark. And then the last thing I really want to cover with you is a really key piece, and I alluded to it earlier, but it's the sheet that you can give to your client and talk through. It kind of helps them prepare for the exam. That's the whole goal of it. So it's entitled Preparing for Your Accelerated Underwriting Call. It is customer approved, so you can share it with them. So again, I really recommend that you talk through it with them and send it to them behind your phone call, send them an email with this in it. So it tells you that the interview is going to be conducted. It takes about 20 minutes, and then we're going to ask you some questions. But we need your driver's license. You got to have that to prove your identity. And it also kind of lets them know. You could even say this to them: and they're going to get driver's license. SBI is going to pull your driving record to see how you're doing there. And then we're going to get the name and addresses of your doctors and clinics you visited in the last 5 years. We need to know the names and dosages of any prescription or over-the-counter medications you take, and a list of medical conditions or diagnoses, including date of diagnosis, treatment, etc. So it just lets your client know that SBI is definitely going to do underwriting on them. It's just that we're going to offer the convenience of not having an in-home exam and having to get blood and that kind of stuff. So with that, I think I've hopefully given you a flavor of how simple it is to drop a ticket with us, to submit a term case with us, how fast it can be with the accelerated underwriting. I'll tell you this, we've had cases where the client was very motivated to do the telephone interview, so the agent dropped the ticket. That same morning, the client took the call from the fulfillment center and got that all done, and the case came to us later that morning. And if the client fits the profile well, doesn't have anything that we need to order an APS on for cause, that case could go out the same day, next day. That's obviously a perfect storm, so I don't want to set the expectation that always happens. But on average, our accelerated underwriting cases go through in about 6 days. Once you get the APS involved, obviously that kind of stretches it out. So that could take 2-3 weeks, depending how quickly we get the records back. But hopefully I've given you a flavor of what the program's all about and how easy it is, and that SBLI is a solid company with good products. And we definitely value the relationship that we're starting with IANS, and we hope that we can do some good business with you. And with that, I'm going to toss it back to Mark.
Excellent. Thanks for that. Hey, so what I'm doing real quick here is I'm going to put out a real quick poll. And if you have any questions, you can certainly type those in the question box. But I just want to put this out here real quick for you. Well, it looks like let's see here. Let me get it. All right, there it is. I was going to put out a poll here for contracting, but I don't see it on there. So we'll certainly reach out to you here after the webinar. I'll send you out the invitation, or not the invitation. I'm sure for those of you who registered for the Academy, we'll have an invitation. Then I'll send you out the recording of the webinar here this morning, along with the contract. So if you want to complete that and shoot that back to me, you certainly can do that. But if you have any questions, put those in the question box. And I'll tell you something real quick here. When we run these quotes, our software program runs every single term carrier that we have. And one thing that I really like is the fact that SBLI is so very competitive. And as Gary mentioned there, on the non-med basis, a lot of times if you show your client, for another $1 or $2 a month to not complete an exam, a lot of those applicants or prospects are going to say, yeah, you know what, I don't have time, I really don't like needles, whatever it be. They'd be willing to spend another $1 or $2 a month to get their coverage without an exam. And it's super fast, as obviously you just heard. And one other thing too that I noticed is that there are some property and casualty shops out there that want to sell life insurance, but they don't want to go through the hassle of an exam. So this is a nice fit for them. So maybe you've got a friend out there, maybe you're property and casualty licensed, but if you've got a friend out there that has that type of business, that's an excellent opportunity for you to get that referral credit, because if they get contracted with us, we're going to send you that check for $50. And as they're writing business, obviously you'll get the market reimbursement for that, or the referred producer, I should say. I'm sorry. So keep that in mind. Anyhow, question box is open. If you have any questions for Gary, let's take advantage of his time here this morning. Put those in there, and we'll certainly relay those to him. Did obviously a great job, Gary. I don't see any questions in the box yet, but nonetheless, okay. If you have any, folks, certainly call the number on the screen here. You'll see 800-255-5055. And if you would, keep an eye on your emails today. Sometimes they may go to your spam folder, but I would say by 5 o'clock Central Time, you should have this in your inbox, and then you can anticipate a call from me here. If not today, it will be tomorrow. Just see if you have any questions, and see if maybe there's any cases that you're working on. We can put together a competitive illustration for you on that. So, Gary, it looks like our box is empty, so I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to help us with this webinar this morning. And for all,
pleasure.
You betcha, yeah. And then, for all of you out there, thank you so much for taking time to join us. Again, I'll shoot this over to you, the recording, along with a phone call, and we'll look forward to doing some business with you here with SBLI here in the very near future. Thank you again.